Science is rewriting the rules of family, one lab experiment at a time. Imagine a world where a child's genetic blueprint comes from 3 people instead of 2. This isn't a sci-fi movie, it's happening now. But here's where it gets controversial. While the technology promises to eliminate certain diseases, it also raises thorny ethical questions that challenge centuries-old understandings of creation, identity, and human dignity. And this is the part most people miss. The debate isn't just about science, it's about the values we're willing to trade for progress. Let's unpack why this breakthrough, hailed as a triumph of modern medicine, might actually be a Pandora's box for society. The term polyparental hybrid is now part of our vocabulary. In simple terms, it refers to children with genetic material from 3 individuals. How? Scientists in the UK recently announced the birth of 8 babies conceived using 1 sperm and 2 eggs. The goal wasn't to create a 3-parent child, but to prevent mitochondrial disease, a condition caused by faulty mitochondria in a mother's egg. The solution? A process called mitochondrial donation. Picture this. The nuclear DNA, the genetic recipe for traits like eye color, from the biological parents is transferred into a donor egg that's been stripped of its DNA but retains healthy mitochondria. The donor's contribution is tiny, less than 1% of the child's DNA, but it's enough to technically make them a 3rd genetic parent. Now, let's pause. This isn't just a technical detail. It's a moral crossroads. For Christians, this development forces us to confront a question that would have baffled our ancestors. How do we reconcile God's design for creation with the power of human innovation? On one hand, the desire to eliminate suffering is noble. On the other, the means to achieve it, rearranging the very blueprint of life, invites scrutiny. Enter the principle of double effect, a centuries-old ethical framework. It asks, can we accept unintended negative consequences if our intentions are good and the overall outcome is proportionally beneficial? In this case, the good is preventing disease. The consequences? Redefining parenthood, commodifying human life, and opening the door to genetic engineering that could spiral beyond control. Here's the rub. The child isn't just a beneficiary of this technology. They're a product of it. And that's where the controversy deepens. Critics argue that treating embryos as experimental subjects, rather than persons with inherent dignity, erodes the sanctity of life. Others counter that the ends justify the means. But what if the means themselves are flawed? For example, the process involves manipulating embryos in ways that could lead to unintended health risks. What if the healthy mitochondria from the donor egg carry hidden flaws? What if the child grows up grappling with questions like, where do I belong in this family? Or why was I created this way? These aren't hypotheticals. They're real concerns for children who may inherit not just DNA, but a legacy of ethical ambiguity. From a Christian perspective, the stakes are even higher. Scripture teaches that procreation is a gift embedded in the covenant of marriage, a union of 1 man and 1 woman. The introduction of a 3rd genetic parent disrupts this sacred order. It fractures the biological and emotional bond between child and parents, replacing it with a transactional model of parenthood. This isn't just about genetics, it's about identity. A child conceived through this method may struggle to understand their place in a family structure that no longer aligns with the natural order. And let's not forget the slippery slope. If we accept 3-parent children today, what stops us from engineering designer babies tomorrow? The line between healing and enhancement is perilously thin. So where do we go from here? The answer isn't simple, but one thing is clear. Christians can't afford to stay silent. We must engage this issue with both compassion and conviction, defending the dignity of the child, the integrity of the family, and the moral boundaries of creation. This isn't about rejecting science. It's about ensuring that science serves humanity, not the other way around. And to the skeptics who say, why not let parents choose? I ask, at what cost? When we prioritize control over humility and perfection over acceptance, we risk losing what makes us human. What do you think? Is this a step toward a healthier future or a leap into ethical chaos? Share your thoughts below, because the conversation is just beginning.